What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today we're going to talk to you about SoundHound. Give you a breakdown of some of the data points, what shorts are doing, and everything else you need to know. But first, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So SoundHound is down 5.02%, 14.53 the low, 15.23 the high. Couple different attributing factors. No actual news from the company itself, no SEC filing. So it's kind of just reacting to the broader market, and ultimately the market is digesting what Hammock and also what Powell are saying right now, both kind of mimicking each other for the most part, but they're both talking on monetary policy, inflation, and ultimately Powell is kind of saying that there isn't any reason for you to cut rates, for the Feds to cut rates. And same thing as Hammock was saying, the exact same thing. If anything, they were adding a little bit of a tone, the fact that they might potentially raise rates, so that's just adding greatness. Market doesn't like that whatsoever, so this is why you're seeing a lot of the broader growth stocks just get dragged down. SoundHound's a different kind of scenario, which usually is very volatile in general, but yesterday, for those of you that watched my video, shorts for whatever reason did wake up, and I think that was just to give SoundHound a push below the key actual support points. So they wanted to break it on a technical level. Right now, they're not really doing all that much, surprisingly enough. So shorts are only increasing 78,000 shares. And again, for those of you that watch my kind of video every day, this is very, very timid for them. So 30.79% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 101.33 million shares overall are being shorted. So they ultimately did all the damage yesterday just to break SoundHound on a technical level. So they're kind of just sitting back and maintaining it, just guiding SoundHound lower. Historically, again, SoundHound does always recover in the second half of the day, similar to what happened yesterday. So you can kind of see that right here. So there's a good kind of chance that that will happen once again with SoundHound, but still I think the trend is being laid out by shorts, and this is kind of what happens when you do have a lower volume. So right now 15.1 million shares being traded, 56 million is the average. So any stock, not just SoundHound, but any stock that is heavily shorted and does have lower volume, that's extremely easy. Like shorts are pretty much having cake right now. They can just sit back and just enjoy the ride because they can dictate what does happen. So ultimately that's kind of what is moving SoundHound today. But aside from that, 3.44 million in calls, 1.17 in puts, 51% of all the options being done are bearish in nature, and I have a feeling a lot of that is stemming from what was just stated by Powell and Hammock. But even just looking at the overall volume, kind of low today, so 4.6 million in total premiums. Yesterday was 8.8, 10 the day prior. So I think just SoundHound is losing its popularity, if that kind of makes sense. So it did have a absolute phenomenal run, and I think like November, December, got a lot of new investors in there. But I think as far as right now, the company itself, they've been giving a lot of updates on social media about a lot of the conferences, but not a lot of concrete operational updates. So I think this is why people are just kind of rotating out into other speculative stocks. So I think all that's just playing a big part. Of the call options that are being purchased, you still do see a consensus for it to be roughly around that 17. So a good amount of optimism still is on the table. Bears are anticipating for it to be sub 13, and going into next week, it looks like they're anticipating for it to be sub $12. So they're kind of anticipating a further breakdown right now with it at $14.51, trading between this pivot and this S1. So 13.73 will be that next strong support. 15.09 is going to be that next strong target / resistance, and that definitely was going to be that one point that SoundHound really needed to stay above in combination with the 50-day moving average. So yesterday you can kind of see shorts did hit it hard, broke it below that 50-day moving average. So going into yesterday, it was kind of on the edge, so they wanted to really hit it hard and bring SoundHound below that. So you're seeing a technical breakdown right now. CPI is coming out tomorrow, so if data is good, for instance, then you should see a market recovery across the board, including SoundHound. But if it does come in negative, then you're going to see a escalation ultimately. So right now it is below the 50 and also the ALMA. On a side note, historically speaking, that does result in like a 30% pullback once it does have 2 consecutive trading dates below both those points. Stochastic RSI is cooling off a little bit, so it was rather overbought. So this consolidation is going to work out fairly well for it, at least in the kind of short term, but still you do see a bearish deviation starting to form. So orange line above the blue. And then just to give you a quick overview, no new analyst ratings aside from all that. So last one was done 29 days ago. No articles really talking about SoundHound all that much. I think there was more back in like November, December, just talking about the huge possibilities, but like I said, there hasn't really been all that much in true operational updates. So hopefully the company is kind of paying attention to all that. For those of you, again, that kind of watch my stuff, I did state that I reached out to them numerous times to try to do a interview. Unfortunately, I gets not past the receptionist or whatever, or through the email. So yeah, I don't think they really are interested in doing any interviews, at least with any YouTubers. Maybe some other names out there through conferences, that's where they'll do that, but doesn't look like they want to do any interviews with moi. So kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I definitely would really want the best for SoundHound to really promote it, because I see a lot of good upside, and I feel like their marketing is improving from when I first started to cover it. Like when I first started to cover it, like they were definitely very, very iffy, but they have grown tenfold. But I think there still is a lot more room for improvement coming from a marketing standpoint. So let me know your viewpoint on them. Have you been buying? Have you been selling? What's your general thoughts on what shorts are doing today? Even right now, looks like they just updated. So now they are returning 108,000 shares. Like I said, just further validating the fact that they just did that strong push yesterday. Now they're sitting back, relaxing, just doing what they like. And maybe if SoundHound does recover, this is where they'll kind of double down again. But yeah, this definitely isn't looking all that great. One thing that actually I did forget to bring up is this. So these are all the transactions that did and so far have occurred on the secondary market above $100,000. So some buying, some selling, some kind of mixed, but definitely frequency is significantly lower than a normal day. So even big money is not really getting into SoundHound as much as they once were, which again is kind of largely because of the volume. So let me know your viewpoint on SoundHound. Are you buying? Are you selling? One final thing though, if you are looking for kick-ass buy signals, pop over to my Patreon and get buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolutely on point and bangers, so definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that said, appreciate all of you watching.